Hello and welcome. Today we've got Melissa Redpill, and today we are going to be discussing Elon Musk and how Melissa wants to tell us and prove to us that Jasara is a real thing. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview. Unless, of course, myself and Melissa can choose our words wisely due to the insane censorship that's happening right now. Melissa, thank you for joining me. How are you and what have you been up to?
So great to see you. It's just been, I can't even believe it's been 2 weeks. It's like the time just goes so fast. But yeah, this is a lot of weird stuff going on with Elon Musk. So if it's okay, I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Absolutely.
And let's get after it to see what is going on with this. Okay, for those of you who are not familiar with me, I'm Freedom Force Battalion. Freedomforce.live is my site. And so I have just tons and tons of research over there that I think you would really like. So freedomforce.live. So yeah, this is something that just came out yesterday, and I didn't know who this Apollo group is. And I imagine a lot of people don't either. So it's saying that Apollo is supporting what Elon Musk is doing. So like who is Apollo? And I'll post it right here. I just did a Wikipedia on it. They are, let me make it a little bit bigger so you guys can read it. An American global alternative investment management firm investing in credit, private equity, and real assets. You might have seen it says PE Apollo. What is that? That's private equity. They have it's 328 billion in assets. So it's gigantic. Elon Musk, goes and swims in circles of the big players. I feel very confident that he had all this work done. These are his buddies. Like, you and I know each other, and I can say, hey, can you, send me this, or you tell me to post that or whatever. We work together. And so he's doing this on a much higher scale, worldwide finance. And so, they're like, oh, Elon Musk is rich as he is. He doesn't have the ability to buy Twitter, for crying out loud. But with the support of his buddies, Apollo, he does. Basically, this makes it pretty much a done deal. All right. So I want people to see that. So that's what, and then there's a really cool post on Zero Hedge. I really like Zero Hedge. They always do have such great information. And so it says it's not clear whether the firm is leaning toward backing Elon Musk's tender offer or perhaps another bid for the social media. Wall Street Journal says Apollo's involvement could entail equity or debt. So in other words, they'll have the financial backing to make this happen. So this tender offer, I'm like, okay, what is this tender offer? Because that's not something that we deal with all the time. And that is, okay, so he put out here, love me tender. He put this on his Twitter. And like, what does he mean by that? Well, it's because he's a tender offer. Let me see if I'm going to read it out to everybody so they can kind of catch up in case they're not really up on world finance. In corporate finance, a tender offer is a type of public takeover bid. The tender offer is a public open offer or invitation by a prospective acquirer to all stockholders of a publicly traded corporation. Because this board is saying, well, we don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. But they aren't the ones who, on a tender offer, they go straight to the stockholders. They get to make this decision to tender their stock for sale at a specified price during a specified time, subject to the tendering of a minimum and maximum number of shares. In a tender offer, the bidder contacts shareholders directly. The directors of the company may or may not have endorsed the tender offer proposal, and they have not. They don't want this to happen. So there was this thing right here, love me tender. He did just a Telegram, a Twitter poll kind of, and 83% said they take the offer.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's not real stockholders. That may be people who are not stockholders, likely is, but that shows you right there what the feeling is of the people. So they are not going to be able to keep this from happening, I don't think. So then the question remains is, okay, let's just say Elon Musk is in control of Twitter. Do you think that he's always talked about free speech. Do you think he would?
What to maybe do something about Section 230, which is to do with the censorship on social media, especially Twitter. What do you think?
The jury is still out on that for me. I don't know if, what he would do. It sounds all terrific. I would love it. I would love to think that he is this, great white hat who knows about all this and he's got the money to make it happen. And oh my gosh, that would be awesome. We'll say President Trump said that even if Elon Musk purchases Twitter and does all this, he's not going back to Twitter.
Out of moral, probably.
Well, that, or you don't know if they're, they'll pull the switch, pull the cord again, And so President Trump just surpassed 1 million followers on Truth Social. And yes, it's taking forever. I think Twitter has 200 million all over the world. So it's going to take a while to get, and I don't know how many people are actually over on Truth Social, but I'm sure that the high percentage of them are following President Trump. So it's just, at least we've got 1 million people over on Truth Social. It's going to take a minute to get that going, but he has not even yet started posting. President Trump has not. So when he does, I think that that's going to get a lot of more people over there. It's just, there's still this long queue. There's this long line people are waiting in. So that's just taking a while. And the thing is, Twitter's already shown what they will do to try to control the narrative. Now, the other thing is and I don't know if I put a link to this. That's something else. Okay. So he said he wouldn't be paid. That's not the main thing I wanted you to see. I want you to see, everybody to see, in case they haven't, that he said, okay, what's his name? Al-Walid bin Talal owns a high percentage of the stock. Several of the board members don't even own stock. Mm-hmm. But Al-Walid bin Talal does. Now, he's like this giant prince, one of the wealthiest people in the world. He's in Saudi Arabia. We already know what Saudi Arabia does with free speech, right? Not so much. They're not into, and he even asked Elon Musk because they rejected the offer. And this is basically Al-Walid bin Talal. For those of you who are new on this, Al-Walid bin Talal, we've got a rag on his head all the time. He was the one who pretty much was the one behind, the puppet master behind Obama. He's the one who financed his education. He's the one who put him to be the king of the world, whatever that Al-Walid bin Talal is ruling through Obama. Okay. He has giant stakeholder in Citibank. I mean, just on the risk board, he owns a giant chunk of the world's wealth. Okay. So he's one of the top guys in the cabal. We don't necessarily hear his name as much as we hear Soros and Rothschilds and all that, but he's one of the top guys. And so Elon Musk posed the question to him, I think it was on Twitter that he posted saying, so are you now up for free speech? So clearly the answer is no. So it's really, the issue is more, it's not about the money. Clearly, it's not about the money. These people don't need any money. It's about who's going to control the narrative. Mm-hmm. And that's the real issue, is who controls the narrative. It's not only your financial future, but it's your, Al-Walid bin Talal will be thrown in prison if the truth comes out about all of his crimes against humanity. So he's to fight for Twitter. He's fighting for his life. So this post came out from American Patriot. I thought this was really good. He says, Musk coming after major platforms with Twitter. We see with major platforms with Twitter, we see crucial moves being made. Again, this is a giant war, a chessboard of all this movement. And the biggest piece on the board is who's going to control the narrative, that we can be over on, whatever platform and speak the truth, right? Vanguard has second largest investors in the world after BlackRock. So who's the big financer of Twitter and these big tech firms? Okay, so we've already said Apollo would finance supposedly free speech with Elon Musk. But Vanguard and BlackRock are the ones who are supporting this, the big tech censorship. Okay. Probably, I don't know if I'm saying the wrong things. I probably am. But anyway, they form a triangle of say it again.
It's absolutely fine. Just the medical stuff. I mean, we're not doing anything like that. So it's absolutely
okay. No, we're not talking about any of that today. All right. So, and they form a triangle of super world power with Berkshire Hathaway State Street. So these are the big power players who finance controlling this narrative. These elite superpowers control food, steel, big tech, Silicon Valley, of course, all this Microsoft, et cetera, airline, agriculture, textile and clothing, oil and solar panels, tobacco, big pharma, electronics, and banking. It's crazy. It's like everything.
Absolutely.
Pretty much everything. These super elites, just remember Vanguard and BlackRock. Okay, those are these big players with Berkshire Hathaway, State Street. Musk is staging a war against these. Okay, and so I think that's a big thing for us to understand is this is a giant war to see who's going to control the narrative. Vanguard protected by deep state military intel, Musk secretly backed by Trump and white hat military intel. That's a question. Is this a move, a covert move from President Trump? Even though he says on the side, I'm not going to get him, I'm not going back to Twitter. But are they working together? Who knows? The bad guys don't know. I certainly don't know.
Don't you think it would be embarrassing for Trump to go, if I was the president and I was thrown off of Twitter and I came out with my own Truth social media, I would just work on that for that to become the superpower social media of the world. And even if I was allowed back on Twitter, out of my own self-respect and pride, I wouldn't go back on Twitter.
I agree.
And I think that's I think that's his personality. I think he's got that character in him as well. What do you think?
That's a very good point. Yep. Very good point. And it fooled me once. Shame on me. Fooled me twice. Shame on you. Fooled me twice. Shame on me. How could he ever trust him again? Even under Musk's control. And the whole point about Truth Social is that it's a free speech platform. That's how it's built to be. And really, the other thing that they never really talk about, I haven't seen anybody talk about, is that Twitter's a CIA operation. It's a government funded operation. It's not a private company.
I mean, how do we know Elon Musk? Maybe not. He might just be getting in Twitter to have some influence over the algorithms, to open the algorithms up a bit more, to allow more honest news to the public, to slowly wake them up. How do we know? He could be going in that for that reason. It might not be anything to do with Trump. It might be to do about the public.
And he says that. I've heard him say, he wants free speech. Everyone just whatever truth to come out. Well, they can't have that. And the question is, let's just say if he did have the keys to the car, where's he going to drive Twitter? Where's he going? Is he going to allow all this truth to come out? And actually that brings up a very good point. And that is, let me see if I can find, I'll talk about the money here in a second. Okay. He said he's ripping the board. Okay. Jack Dorsey's ripping the board, saying that they're not running it well. And they're trying to, not helping it to grow like it had been. Because no doubt with him at the helm, it grew astronomically. All right. But he said, okay, he denied, he censored this information about the laptop from being put on Twitter. Okay. So he even went before Congress. And he says, I've already answered this question about the laptop, letting the laptop be exposed on Twitter. He's answered that 2 or 3 times in front of Congress. Check YouTube. So he didn't allow this to happen. And he says here something about a big mistake somewhere. I don't know if it may not be on this one.
They're calling it a total mistake isn't an answer.
Thank you. There you go. So he says now it's a total mistake. So it's too late now. If he had it to do over, the question is, would he do it again? But either way, so, then of course he was pushed out by the board. The board didn't like him, even despite all that he had done. And just because he's a CEO didn't mean that he had the complete control over what would happen. So for whoever was behind this, and now he's throwing them under the bus, saying that they're not, they realize, let's just say, Trump gets on Truth Social, it'll just triple, quadruple a month over month. It's going to grow and grow and grow when people realize that's where you can get the real deal. Right now it's growing fast, but not like it will when Trump starts posting.
Of course.
Because everybody's going to want to be over there. Say it again?
Maybe it's like a test, him not posting at all. They're just having a look on how the platform is building and how it's developing just from without Trump posting anything. And then they will probably re-monitor it again when he starts posting, so that they could make, good marketing decisions and being able to adjust it. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, everybody's going to know. They know. I think what Jack knows that once that their business model of Twitter is over, he can see the handwriting on the wall. This is a big problem once Truth Social, once President Trump starts posting. But when more people get over there, we've got to get people, in the door. And that's just, unfortunately, for whatever reason, it's taking a long, long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't think about it with Twitter because it grew over time. We're trying to get all these people in this queue pushed in, and it's a mammoth task. But yeah, so they, he's not, I think he's just not posting because he wants it to be just this gigantic splash when he starts posting. He wants everyone to be over there as much as possible, and so that it'll be at the right timing. So yeah, but he knew, I think that he realizes that this censorship, they can censor us, but people will stop going over there. People are not going to, they will go where they have free speech, So that I thought was really interesting. I want to talk a little bit more about Jack Dorsey here in a second, but before I forget, so he said also, Musk said that the Twitter board will be paid nothing if he acquires the company. That's like $3 million a year. Again, though, it's not about the money. They don't care anything about the money. I'm talking about the ones who control it truly, people living above the board. They don't really care about the money. They want to control the narrative, like this Prince Al-Walid bin Talal. All right, so he said that. And then who was it? Somebody said that the board, Gary Black said, let me point out something obvious. If Elon Musk takes Twitter private, the Twitter board members don't have jobs anymore, which pays them $250,000 to $300,000 per year, which is a nice part-time job.
Mm-hmm.
So that could explain some of it. They'll lose their jobs, and they know that. But the point is, whether it's a tender offer, so if it goes straight to the stockholders, I feel sure that they're going to, and he's got the backing, the financial backing. It's a done deal.
Absolutely. See, if this happened 10 years ago, they would be assassinated. I mean, look what happened to MySpace. They got so big, and I believe they got shut down, or another company bought them and changed it. So what I'm trying to say is that I think the white hats, when it comes to all of this, I think they have much more power or control more than we think, because this seems to be very bubblegum staged kind of news. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a very serious thing. The deep state would just get rid of you. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're right. And actually that goes into this next post that someone said, is somebody controlling Jack Dorsey's tweets? Okay, this was from a couple years ago. This was the one so which one was it? They were saying, it looks like someone is controlling his tweets. Let me see if I can find the one. So he's tweeting a lot. He's talking about the dysfunction of the board, kind of throwing them under the bus. He's talking about what I do know for sure is that this old Silicon Valley proverb is ground in an age-old wisdom that still applies today. Good boards don't create good companies, but a bad board will kill a good company every time. So again, he says big facts. So he's called, so the thing is, I don't know, is he controlling that? And then he said this about CNN. I know this from being on the streets of Ferguson during the protests and watching them try to create conflict and film it, causing the protesters to chant F Biden, F CNN. So the thing is, he's calling out CNN that they are the ultimate fake news. They actually create the conflict. They create things and they blast it out onto social media, onto mainstream media.
Imagine it could be Elon Musk controlling those tweets.
I'm telling you, that's just so wild. Wouldn't that be wild?
Who knows?
I wouldn't put it past him.
Who
All
knows?
is fair in love and war.
I think Elon Musk could have a big role to play, you know?
Yeah. So we'll see. I feel like think about this, if he saves Twitter, will Trump's popularity be able to make Truth Social successful and give Twitter a real run for their money, a real competition?
What do you mean?
Well, there's already so many people on Twitter. The only reason you come off of Twitter is because you said there's something I like better. Maybe I start hating Twitter and I want to go and see what's going, I want to see what the action is happening at Truth Social. That's not yet. That would be once President Trump starts posting over there. And the thing is, what would that be enough? Can Jack Dorsey keep people from moving over to Truth Social?
Can he keep what? Sorry?
I'm sorry, I probably said that wrong. Can Elon Musk keep people from wanting to go to Truth Social?
Again, I mean, that's a good point, but I mean, unless he's got crazy fans, but I think Donald Trump has much more crazy fans.
Crazy fans.
Well, fans that love him. Yeah, Donald Trump's loved.
Right. And then,
when I say crazy, I mean crazy in love. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy love. Right.
Not conspiracy crazy.
And then, everybody wants to see the mean tweet, maybe now it'll be a mean truth, so the thing is, once you move over and you start, everybody's over there, Twitter will go bye-bye. So the question is, and Jack Dorsey knows this, the only way to save Twitter is to make it a free speech platform, at least long enough to stop Truth Social. Let's say they stop Truth Social 2 or 3 years down the road. Let's say Truth Social is gone. It falls apart and it doesn't happen. Just like Parler's gone. Okay. I'm just thinking out loud. Let's say that happens. Then Twitter can shut the door again. And I'm not saying Elon Musk is good. I'm not saying he's bad. I don't know. I'm just how skeptical I am. I trust Trump, but that's about it.
It's a good way of looking at it. But if that was to happen, I still don't believe Trump would go back to Twitter because of morals and, not only that, but I just don't see that happening. I think.
Right. I agree. I think you're right.
Yeah.
And then Twitter could still say, okay, well now, there's really been no competition for Twitter. Getter has not been competition. Telegram has not really been competition. The only one who's potentially given them a run for their money is Truth Social. And let's just say, God forbid, they were able to shut that down. Who's to say they wouldn't go back and just say, okay, we're going to make Twitter, it's it's controlled like they are now, or even worse. So anyway, we will see how this it's quite the intrigue.
Imagine Elon Musk just converted Twitter into Truth Social, and it just became Truth Social app. They rebranded it.
Oh my gosh!
I doubt that would. I highly doubt that would happen. But.
Oh my gosh! That is the best thought in the whole wide world. That is the best thought in the whole wide world. Oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
That would be cool, right? Just like we've got Facebook and Meta. It was Twitter to Truth Social.
Oh my gosh!
Who knows?
Oh my gosh, that's really a great,
because they are very similar. They're like clones, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Who knows?
Wow. And that's what he was saying. This person here was saying that. Okay, I wanted to show this too, but I don't want to forget about that. He was saying, what was this guy saying that they're working together? Are they working with this one? He says, are they working together? Are the white hats working with Trump? Working with Elon? That would be quite something if they merged. If Trump is working with Elon Musk and Elon Musk is, of course, they're fighting Elon Musk, but he's got a huge following. Remember before President Trump ran for president, he had this huge following. The left loved him, right? Until he came out and he showed his true colors that he was, not one of them. So people love, he's got a huge following, whatever the number is, just gigantic following over Elon Musk. So he could potentially get this done because of going through the tender offer through the stakeholders. The stakeholders might not sell it to Trump, but they would sell it to Elon Musk, not realizing that he's working with Trump and they're going to combine them. That would be wonderful. That would be super cool. As long as it was truly Truth Social. Let's run like Truth Social.
Let's move on to Jasara. Why?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I really want to
love that thought, though. I love your thought. I love the way you think, bro. All right. So here is Jubilee is the Bible name for Gesara. Okay. And so a lot of people maybe haven't read Leviticus, right? And I'm your girl who has. So the Bible talks about this amazing day, and it's actually on the Liberty Bell. The Liberty Bell has this verse from Leviticus 25. It says, set this year apart as holy or separate, okay, as a special year. And it's once every 50 years they celebrate Jubilee. It's a time to proclaim freedom throughout the land for all who live there. It'll be a Jubilee year for you when each of you may return to the land that belonged to your ancestors. So it goes into more detail about, so it's not just that, the freedom, think of freedom as in your financial freedom, that your money is restored to you. Everything that's been stolen from you is restored to you. If you're captive, you're set free. If you've lost your freedom, even if you're not behind bars, but just like we have lost our freedom on social media or whatever, how much time do we spend talking about, we want our freedom back, right? Medical freedom or whatever it is, we get it back. That's the point of Jubilee. Okay, so what happens is on Resurrection Day, on Easter, I just threw that on the ground. Anyway, so the Bible calls it the day of first fruit. So pretend like you're an agrarian society and you're growing this barley, and you're so thankful that the barley harvest has done well, so that you can survive. So they start counting the barley, and it's a picture of you start with one, and then another one grows, and another one grows, and next thing you know, you have a giant bushel, a giant bundle of grain. So that there's just this picture of plenty. So think of your wallet, of your bank account. You've got maybe a few dollars, and then it starts growing. And the second day, and the third day, and the fourth day, you count 49 days, and that 50th day is this financial freedom, debts paid, canceled debts, captives freed, freedom for all. And this is, like I said, the very verse that's on the Liberty Bell, ring the bell and proclaim liberty, freedom throughout the land, which is the whole point of America. But it hasn't been fulfilled yet, clearly. Okay. So I wanted you guys to see that word. When you think of Gesara, think the word Jubilee. All right. So, before I go on, I got to show this real quick before I get off on my whole Jubilee thing. This is something Dan Scavino just posted yesterday, 442 of these heads blowing up because they're so ticked off. They're freaked out that this judge said, no, you cannot mandate the masks. And all the airlines have followed and said, okay, they're taking off the masks, which is so, so great. This Trump appointed judge. So there's 404, post 442 has a very interesting thing, and it's about Elon Musk. Right. Post 442. Isn't that great? It's a Elon Musk showing this nuclear alien UFO from North Korea, which I think is, aliens are just baloney anyway. But the point is, it's, who knows? They may come out with an alien invasion because of this laptop. They may pull out everything, including the alien invasion. But I thought that was really cool that Dan Scavino posted that. And then they're talking about the aliens on TV. So I just thought that was so funny that we're right there. They knew this day would come. All right. So here's the counting of the Omer. So this is 49 days. You count, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, all the way for 7 times 7, 49 days to so the Bible word is Shavuot. And there's the full bundle. And that is the Jubilee. And this is a picture of, what happened was when they were set free from Egypt and they crossed the Red Sea, right? And they're going and they're going across. At one point, they get to the Mount Sinai, and God gives them the law. Basically, the law is just law and order to make sure that they are not taken over by bad guys, so that they are able to be safe and everybody can be fine and well. And that's the bundle is the picture of law and order being restored. Everybody, things being set right, so where people don't steal from you and all that. So I want you to see that. And then I'm going to show you the promises. It's all throughout the Bible about this gold coming back to us. And I think it's so cool that the Omer bundle is gold. It's gold. I keep going to the wrong thing. But isn't that beautiful? Because it's you think of a bundle of gold. Who's ready for a bundle of gold, right? So here is this is my book that I just released. It's a bestseller already. So thank you so much, everybody, for helping make this a bestseller. But End Times: Major Clues from Minor Prophets. This is some Old Testament books that nobody would read, but I've read them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's giving us the timeline of what's going to happen. My first one was this one, End Times and 1,000 Years of Peace, and more people are finally getting with the program and realizing that I'm right. This is very fun. I've got almost 2,500 reviews on this book, so definitely check it out. It's just $2.99 on Amazon. All right, so here's one of the verses in Joel. You have taken my silver and gold and all my precious treasures and have carried them off to your pagan temples. So this is where the Lord's like, he's going to destroy them for what they've done. They've taken all of our money. We know what they've done to our currency. They just wrecked it. And right now our money is just becoming worthless. And so I think that you are you helping people get gold, Nicholas?
I'm advising people should get silver and gold. I think it's important.
Yeah.
It's God's money. It's true money. It's better than the fiat currency. Absolutely.
Yes. I think that's a terrific thing to do, because it's with the monopoly money is just a joke. It's just, and they can manipulate it so much, but they cannot do that with the gold. Anyway, so this is a verse that talks about in Joel chapter 3. You can read it in the NLT version. But the treasures really are the children. They've carried off the treasures of the children. Gold and silver is great, but the children are the most precious thing that we have. And they've carried them off to these pagan temples for their horrible sacrifices. So the Bible talks about this, and that basically, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but bottom line, they're going to be punished for this, and all that gold's going to revert back to us. So here it talks about in Zechariah. Look at this. The Tyre is a picture of this satanic group. Okay. Think of Tyre as the Satan worshipers. They had built a strong fortress. They've made silver and gold as plentiful as dust in the streets. I'm sure you've seen, just like I had, those giant buildings with just gold, stacks and stacks and stacks of gold. They don't need it. No. They just don't want us to have it.
They have gold toilet seats and whatever in some places. And,
So disgusting. While people are starving. And it's just so evil. So evil. And they know that if we are financially more secure, then we have the time to fight back. Mm-hmm. If all you're doing is trying to scrap and fight just to put food on the table, you don't have time to fight, or the mental ability to fight, right? So that's what they've done. They've had it as plentiful in their pockets as dust in the streets. But now, verse 4, this is Zechariah chapter 2, chapter 2? Hang on, let me see. No, chapter 9, verse 4. But now the Lord will strip away Tyre's possessions and hurl its fortifications into the sea, and it will be burned to the ground. This is a promise that this day would come, that all their gold that they have hoarded to themselves will be stripped away from them. Isn't that awesome?
Well, okay.
Yeah. So if anybody tells you Gesara is not, it's fake or whatever, well, it's biblical. That's the whole point of my channel. I don't look at how this is biblical. The Freedom for Style is my site. So you can search on there, Gesara, you can search on there, whatever word. I've got just tons of videos, 700 videos on there. This one is Zechariah 14. On that day, they will be terrified, stricken by the Lord with great panic. They'll fight their neighbors hand to hand. Judah, they're fighting each other. In other words, the cabal is fighting each other. Isn't that great to see? Judah, too, will be fighting at Jerusalem. The wealth of all the neighboring nations will be captured. Great quantities of gold and silver and fine clothing. All that will be captured. I really do think this is a big part of what's behind this Elon Musk thing. Because like I was saying, this Vanguard, they have the giant wealth of the world. He's going in to take them. It's basically a hostile takeover of Vanguard. Because it's not just fighting for Twitter, it's fighting for the financial, who's going to control the finances of the world. And move it into the hands of Apollo, which would be a freedom place, which would be so great. The wealth of all the neighboring nations will be captured. Isn't that awesome? Zechariah 14. So this is no doubt in the word. Okay, so then this is the other one. I love this one. This is when we fight back. When we fight back against these people, and that, just like you are doing on a daily basis, I'm doing, all of the Freedom Force Battalion, all these patriots, all over the world are fighting them, and they're trying to stop us. Kind of like Zelensky's like, let's just have a ceasefire. No, we're going in for the kill. We're not going to stop. We're going to push the pedal down until these people are stopped or are destroyed. And they say, stop, but no one even looks back. Loot the silver, plunder the gold. There's no end to Nineveh's treasures, its vast, uncounted wealth. Soon the city is plundered, emptied, and ruined. Hearts melt and knees shake. The people stand aghast, their faces pale and trembling. This is talking about this new world order, and that this is definitely going to happen. I just want everybody to be encouraged. This is our future. Our future is not to be enslaved and all that. They have pushed it too far, and now unfortunately it was necessary for people to realize, look what they're doing here. Look what they're doing with the children. Look what they're doing with the schools and all the things that they're teaching, so that people would smack them and wake them up.
To realize, absolutely. It's a psychological game, isn't it? To really get people to do the work. I mean, how are we going to learn that, to make sure not to repeat history, if they just give it to us all on the plate and say, look, this is what's been going on? People won't believe it. They have to live it. They have to experience it. It has to touch home for them to want to make a difference. And I think if we had, for example, the White Hats, I don't think they could do it by themselves. I think they need the people to want it as well. And that's what I think all this is, a psychological game.
Right. And we're still waiting on this mass start awakening. Now, they talked about the laptop coming out. Will that really shake people awake? I don't know.
Who knows?
If that really would do it. I would have thought they would have awakened long ago. But there's, the beautiful picture that's happening in the heavens right now is the man, the Aquarius is the man with the water pot. The Jupiter did a loop in his belly, and it's just this stirring up of the people to stir them awake. This is a picture that's happened, that just completed in the heavens, of the awakening of the people. And no doubt, this has been a big awakening. So at one point we're going to have, people will realize what's happened and how they came this, to the precipice that close. And then, in the future, we're just not going to have, we just can't ever go back to the way it was before. There's a really weird verse that talks about they will have 7 princes over us in the future. And I have a feel there's another really cool verse in Revelation 21 says that some of these people will have their life extension. They'll be given a huge blessing that death will have no power over them. It's like they've become like superpowers or superheroes. That let's just say someone like, President Trump or, JFK or someone like that, who's proven themselves to be Andrew Breitbart, someone like that, who's proven themselves to be a valiant fighter who could be here for years and years and years, hundreds of years. So people can say, look, this person was there back in the day. They experience this. Trust them. They are trustworthy. They know how to keep us from, getting into this mess again, because the Bible clearly says that, just like my book says, end times in 1,000 years of peace, we're going to have 1,000 years of peace on earth. So we're not going to fall back into this.
Amen to that.
It's ready. Wow. The last quick thing I want to show you is Skippy Doo Dah. I hope you guys will support that. I meant to send you the link and I never did. I'm going to do it as soon as we get off our call here. But I'm going to be the MC. Various ones are going to be there. Mike, what's his name? Mike Smith, the creator of Out of Shadows, is going to be there. Isn't that great? The founders of the Bikers Against Trafficking, Doc and Rainey, are there's traffic survivors and thrivers. They're going to be there. Mel K is going to be there. You want to come? I would love it.
I would love to.
It's gorgeous. The water is like crystal blue. It's so pretty. You've got to go. And the place where we're going is called Lakewood Ranch. It looks like heaven on earth. It's so beautiful. And so let's see. Yeah. So various ones. And then actually, and we know is supporting it. He's promoting it. So this is in a group called Omega Kingdom Ministry. They are another group of patriots I've known for a long time. They are going to make sure that this money is used to help the children and not be used by the bad guys. So, we just have to do it ourselves with patriots that we have known and have proven themselves to be, good people.
Absolutely.
Patriots.
Well, Melissa Redpill, it's been great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
I just tell them I love you. I just appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you. You're doing great work. Honestly, you're doing fantastic.
Thank you. You too, bro. And don't forget, y'all come over to all my social media on freedomforce.live. When you go there, you'll see the social media is all right here. Join with me on all these so that you can stay up on the latest, and hope to see you guys in Sarasota. If you can't go, you can at least help to support them. And that'd be great. I will see you then.
Excellent. Well, thank you. And we'll speak again very soon. God bless
all
you.
Right.
All the viewers. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.